So I am live again on all the platforms that we could link this to, and I'm back today live on this show called Transformational Thursday. It's one of my favorite shows to do because we invite some amazing people from out there in this world, and then they come and they share their stories of what it really means to experience some sort of transformation, either in their personal life or in their professional life, because what we do at I Thrive, it's entirely about transforming yourself, mostly from the perspective of your health. But now we've started doing a lot of work around the mind as well. But yeah, so without taking up too much time introducing the show, for those of you that don't know me yet, my name is Mugdha Pradhan. I'm the founder and CEO of I Thrive, and my vision is to create a planet free of lifestyle diseases. I'm going to bring today's two very special guests. And I'll tell you why they're special to me. But here they are. There's Jayashri and there's Darshan. Thank you so much, guys, for accepting the invite and coming here today on a weekday afternoon. I know you both of you have really busy schedules. I don't even know how we managed to catch both of you, but thank you for coming here today. And
Thank
like
you for
always,
inviting me.
I'm not going to introduce who you are to the audience because I really think that the beauty of each person comes forth the best when they speak about themselves. So, Jayashri, why don't you tell the audience who you are and what is it that you do?
Sure. Good afternoon. Thanks, Mugdha and I Thrive team for giving me this opportunity. My name is Jayashri Satpute. I am a co-founder of a legal empowerment organization called Nazdeek. We simplify law for poor and marginalized communities. We currently work with tea plantation workers across India, with garment factory workers in about seven slum and rehabilitation colonies in Delhi, and the work is expanding, which is great. Uh, I'm also a human rights lawyer, so I practice before Supreme Court and various high courts in India. And the recently added tag is a seeker. I think I have started exploring different aspects of my being and my personality, and I think that is a profile I'm getting more and more comfortable with. So yeah, that's me.
All right. Lovely to have you on board. So, for the people who are watching this, why Jayashri is special to me is she came on board, I think, a couple of years ago, much before the lockdown, right? Like for your own health, you reached out
Yes.
to us. And from there, for me, the way I do my work at iThrive has always been very community driven. It's about expanding the community and building that network. And I think Jayashri has single handedly brought in what, like 20% of the community so she's brought in, like, her parents did the work around their health. She's brought in so many of her friends, so many of her
Thanks.
colleagues. So thank you so much, Jayashri. And I mean, you're an amazing person. We did the Life Plugin Summit together last year, and I got to actually stay with you. And
That
lovely.
was fun.
Thank you for coming on board. Darshan, why don't you tell the audience who you are? I think quite a few people would already know who you are.
Sure. So, first of all, thanks, Mugdha, Prasad, and your team for inviting me on this awesome show. My name is Darshan Doshi. I'm the founder of Dasar, and Dasar is a culmination of all my life experiences. I love to help people become a better version of themselves and help them achieve or figure out their calling, purpose, help them figure out and achieve financial independence. And the third part of is achieve peak fitness, and I know I got in touch with you back in 2018-19 where I was extremely unfit. And then a lot has happened and now I'm at peak fitness. And so I can share some of my journey around that as well. But what I do is imagine a society where people are financially independent. Would they do what they are doing today? And if they had the body to do all the things that they wanted to do, right? So it's freedom. And so Dasar is synonymous to freedom. And that's what I'm hoping to achieve. My mission is to help 1 lakh people become financially independent, figure out their calling, and double down on their fitness.
Lovely. So beautiful to hear that. I, in fact, remembered you. So the day before yesterday, because I keep studying HR also, because like I take care of HR at I Thrive to a degree. And there's this new law which kind of allows employers. So now instead of 9 working hours, you can make it 12 working hours. So from the 1st of July, that's the amendment that's coming. And I was like, 12 working hours, how many corporates are going to really abuse that law to kind of, get more people to work. And then I was like, what if people really understood how to make money? And I was like, Darshan was speaking about this, like talking to people, and he had a course on financial independence. I was really thinking about you when I read that law. So for the people who are watching this, I think Darshan, you and I met when I had attended some startup event, and there was this TI, the Thai healthcare event, and I
Correct.
think that's where I kind of got in touch with you. And I knew at that time you were heading the entire MBA entrepreneurship program at Flame
University.
University. And
Yeah.
we've been in touch since then. And I saw your journey as well, right? I was like, okay, this is somebody who really understands what transformation means. And we've been in touch. We've done a podcast together, and you're going to release that as well, I think, sometime soon, right? So
Yeah. So
it's so good to
I
have
love
you
the
here.
focus that you have on transformation. It's such a simple but heavy word, right?
Yeah.
Transformation. And this transformation has got to do with your mind, your body, your actions. And there's so much that goes through, right? The ups and downs. But that also makes it interesting.
Everything in your life can transform, right? Like move from one version to another, even your relationships, everything. Like I think stagnation is death basically. So that's I'm like super growth oriented. All right, so to get started, like this is the first question that I ask all guests who come here. What does being alive really mean to you? And I'll tell you why this word is so important to me, right? Because of like when we started doing this work initially, it was people coming with their like weight issues and chronic diseases. And later, as we started doing more and more of this as a team group, we started working with really difficult conditions. We really, we started feeling because from the kind of testimonials we were getting, people were like, I'm getting my life back. And then we were like, okay, we are really helping people get their life back. And we kind of renamed the entire 90-day program also to Alive. And like, to me, that state of being alive is where you are like at your peak energy levels. You wake up, you have a purpose in mind, and you're like in a state of joy and peace, which is not like, fluctuating through the day, but you just really know why you're here, and your body and your mind are kind of supporting you to do all of that. And like, that's what really being alive means, right? Like, no aches and pains and no gas and bloating, and like, you're just like living it every day. So that's something that's become really important for me. Like, anytime somebody comes, I want to give them that experience. But then I want to ask you also, right? So, what does being alive mean to you, Jayashri?
Um, it's a very casual, Thursday afternoon question. Thank you for bringing that on top of my plate this afternoon, Mugdha. I really, I really think like all that you have said. Feeling good. The body is you're feeling light. You feel like you have energy. You are not like wanting to take a nap after lunch or like just all of those. But I think because my journey has been a little longer, I think I feel that for me being alive, now being like being present and being awake, um, because I have kind of like casually gradually started observing as to when I get lost in my thought, when I get lost in the loop of anxiety. So I'm like at the state where I'm just identifying loops and just trying to get myself back to the breath or what I'm currently doing and engaging with. So I think for me, being alive is to kind of like to experience the magic of being in that moment and see what all possibilities open up. And I think it cannot be done without your body being chemically kind
Absolutely.
of conducive to your brain or your mind going, allowing your mind to process that, and having that confidence that you're not going mad. you know because if your body is not supporting you, then the first question is that like, am I getting mad?
Yeah.
I'm going to a stage where there's no coming back.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And what does it mean for you, Darshan? What does being alive mean?
Yeah. It's such a easy but again a heavy question, right? What does being alive? I think to start with, I think for me being alive is doing the things that I enjoy doing the most, right? Where I'm pushing myself. I'm also very growth oriented, like you are, where I want to do so many things. I wish in personal and professional capacity, right? In a relationship capacity as well, right? In a community based approach. So there are so many things like from a professional standpoint, Dasar is what I'm focusing on now. but then I also want to operate at a governance level, in a systems thinking level, right? In a personal level, I want to learn drums. I want to do an Iron Man. And then on the relationship bit, my kids are just under 10 years old. I wish I could spend a lot more time with them, help them shape a little bit more, right? And be a part of their journey. But for me, being alive is essentially having the clarity and the energy to do what I want to do, right? If I can do that, and the concept of flow is very important in this, right? So
Yes.
flow is the state at which you are at the boundary of your limits, right? So whether it is physical boundary, mental boundary, if you are at that edge, then you don't necessarily, everything's not easy, everything's not about convenience, but it's about that one level up. Can I be better? Can I be faster? Right? All of that stuff. And I think the people that come to my mind are, I have a niece who's just 2 years old, and I have daughters who are just under 10, and they simplify or they exemplify what being alive is, right? They're always full of energy. They're always wanting to do things. They always want to, they're not worried about the outcome. They're not worried about what others are going to say,
Right.
right? And so I think at some point we should just remain a child in our mindset, right? Rather than become adults, which kind of gets boring at times.
Yeah. Like adulting actually is like the most boring part of being a human, right?
It's exaggerated. It's
Yeah.
oversold.
It's oversold. And like I see all these millennials and like it's so many of them talking about like how difficult it is, and like their adult role models had a certain way of living, and thanks to lockdown and COVID, the millennials and the generation before that, the models are completely broken and disrupted, right? And then they're like, how do we even do this thing? And then I'm like, okay, forget about the old models, like create a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for me also, it's really about that, like to be able to just be honest with yourself, moment to moment. Like know what is it that you want, be able to express it without fearing judgment and shame. That's how kids are. They are really the most alive. Uh, like they're the exemplification of what being really alive means.
Yeah.
If we could do our adult stuff with the mindset of a child, I think that would really be good for all of us. And the body plays a very big role, like you said, Jayashri, because like no matter how amazing your consciousness is, or no matter how intelligent and intellectual you are, or whatever your sole purpose is, if you can't embody all of that in your body, and if your body can't support you on a day-to-day basis, then it's just wasted potential, and then that leads to the resentment and frustration and depression that we see in so many people.
Yeah.
But yeah, lovely answers, thank you so much. Okay, my next question, because this is like we'll wrap it up quickly also, is what is the most transformational thing that you've done for yourself? Jeshri, you can take this one again first. What is the most transformational thing that you've done for yourself, let's say in the last 3 months, and then over the last 1 year as well?
Mm. I think I definitely want to include cleaning, eating clean.
Hmm.
And that has happened a little before, like much before 1 year, but being able to understand food and my food habits and how I eat, how the food impacts. And I think I have done a biggest favor to myself thanks to you all. And the continued support has been amazing. Um, other thing is like figuring out sleep. I really literally went, like, watch documentaries on sleep and to discover how much there is to sleep than just to going and lying down in the bed, so just improving the quality of sleep over last year has really kind of brought in um, uh, space in my mind to deal with more, to meditate better, to kind of be okay with being by myself, and just kind of like understanding uh, what uh, what are the essential components for a good sleep. So that was really transformational. I think sleep is really
Nice.
important, and I now don't dread it. Like, that, oh, it's my mind is not going to shut down, or like I'm just going to wake up tired. Now I look forward to going to sleep because it's just like
Lovely.
you're out. And then you dream sometimes, or maybe remember dreams sometimes. And then recently, I attended a summit called Wellbeing Summit, which is
Okay.
I think a step up from the summit you and I went to. We just
Okay.
finished.
What summit is this?
It's called Wellbeing Summit. It was
Well-being summit. Okay.
in Spain, and I've been meaning to tell you about it, but because I have just been like spending time dealing with its aftermath for last 15 days. It was amazing because what they did is they're talking about music and art in space of healing, and it was specifically for people who work in human rights sector and how burnout has impacted.
Wow.
So what I felt was there are a lot many people like me who are experiencing frustration, and how no matter how much we work, there is something which is undone. As you said, labor laws. Those labor laws have been making for 2 years, and
Right.
it's been a process simplifying them for workers who are on the ground who have no idea that their work
Right.
hours have changed and how to ensure their participation in it with a expectation that there might be some response from the government which never comes. So how do you keep on putting work in a black hole, and what are the frustration of it and how to kind of keep that alive. So that conference was really good for me at both
Right.
professional and personal, and spiritual level. I hope I get to talk to you about it in a detail.
Oh, I would love to catch up. Like
Yeah.
just catch up on what like I also wanted to catch up with you on so many other things, including the sleep, like,
Yes.
the sleep stuff in the spiritual dimension, and we
Yes.
should we should connect after this.
Yes, for
So
sure.
yeah, interesting. That's amazing. I would really love to hear more about it. Cool. What about
Yeah.
you, Darshan? What's
So
been the most transformational?
I think transformation, good, lot of good things, but it's not 3 months or 6 months or a year. Mine is back in 2019. I experienced a professional failure back around July, August of 2019, and that was a good kick in the butt for me. Sometimes, I mean, we curse the time of failure and we are down, but they give you enough indications to get your life in order, right?
Yes.
And I think that's where we need to talk more about failures as well. So I was extremely unhealthy. I know I had got in touch with you. You had suggested a few blood tests, but
Right.
really, what transformed me were two things. One is that with that failure, I realized that I need to straighten up, right? I need to fix a few things of my life, starting with my body, right? I was 84, 85 kgs. I was unhealthy. I couldn't do 5 push-ups, and so got a trainer. The trainer started doing 3 home workouts a week, and I've been doing those ever since, right? And it's been good. The second transformational piece was I did the 10-day Vipassana in
Okay.
November 2019, right? And that was amazing because I didn't used to meditate regularly before that. Um, and but it kind of really helped me understand and being in complete silence with yourself, especially for a person like me who's talkative, who likes to talk and who feeds off energy. Meeting people was really challenging, right? So 10 days you're not communicating with anyone, no phone, no devices, you're meditating almost 15 hours a day, was really, really transformational for me, right? It helps bring clarity of thought of who you are, what you want to do, where do you want to go, what's important to you. And the third bit of transformation is I am a chemical engineer who used to be in the engineering field early part of my career, then transitioned into tech entrepreneurship. And I'd never built a website, I'd never done content. Now I have a YouTube channel, I run a podcast, I'm launching another podcast which is called Dirghayu. Next Friday I launch a podcast which is healthcare podcast series, right? Which is how can you have the gift of 100-year life, right? So that goes live on Dasar YouTube channel next Friday. Doing a lot of content, put together various programs, which is all for the first time. So when you're building a startup, you're all the time, most of the time, you are learning, right? And
Yes.
learning at an accelerated pace. So that is transformational by itself as well. So uh, both on personal front and professional front, it's been a good 2.5 years, but really challenging. And but because it is challenging, it is fun too.
I can see such a lot of your journey, like a reflection of my journey as well there, right? Because for me also, I've seen that every time I do something to transform myself personally, it immediately impacts every other area of life, right? Like from my relationships to my professional life to what we do at iThrive. So it feels like I'm often at center of, like, I work on myself, I go inwards, I do my stuff, and then everything outside in my reality starts automatically reflecting that transformation and growth. For me, I think the most transformational thing that I've done recently is I signed up for this course, and I should tell you about that one as well. It's called this embodied awakening, embodied soul awakening journey. It's more around the psycho spiritual aspects of our human existence and how do you embody all of that. It's run by this couple, both are in the US, but it's so deep and it's so profound. And for me, honestly, it's like actually brought up a lot of unprocessed, repressed stuff from my childhood, right? Like
Mm.
from abuse to so many things that I didn't even think they were important,
Mm.
but as they're coming up and I'm seeing how they even impact my present day to day life, right? In terms of conversations, in terms of perceptions, in terms of how I kind of sometimes apply filters or make judgments about people. And
It-
like for me, my spiritual connection is the, like someone once told me that your business is basically a front for your spiritual work. So
I totally believe that.
jewelry shops as a front for their work, your business is a front for your spiritual work. That connection is the most important.
Right.
My existence is centered around work, right? And it's
Yes.
seeing how this work is really allowing more of that to flow in. It's reflecting in how I speak, it's reflecting in the work I'm doing with the academy students as well. Like the module I first do at the academy was called Stress and Therapies for Healing. Now it's become mind body medicine. We're talking of soul retrieval, we're talking of shamanism, like we're going all over the place there, right? Me, but that's been the most transformational thing that I've done. Otherwise, my trajectory from 2017 has been a series of
Yeah.
transformations only.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think once we get hooked on to growth,
It's a black hole. Just
you can't stop, right? Like
yeah.
you both are examples of that. You just
Yeah.
stop. You're never gonna say, "Oh, this is where it ends," because that push to kind
Yeah.
of grow, that little optimal challenge that you want is what you really then latch on to, and then you move on, move on, move on. So
Yeah.
that's how it is. Yeah. So
It's
growth
not
journey is.
easy journey though.
But okay, so you were saying something, Jayashree.
I was saying it's not an easy journey. It takes a lot of courage. There are a lot of moments which are painful. There are a lot of times when you're just crying where you don't know why. So I think, I really admire and appreciate that, you are leading the path in doing this deep work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's hard because
congratulations on
it
it.
will suddenly come up and you won't even know what happened suddenly, right? So
Yeah.
I have this slide in the academy where I show trauma. There's like a banana kele ka chilka banana peel on a track and a train is going by, and then suddenly trauma comes and the train is gone. But anyway, I mean that's my personal growth right now. That's what I'm focusing on, like just going deep so that this work that I'm doing with iThrive doesn't get blocked because of my own personal issues. But anyway, last point before we leave. I think Jayashree lost her internet connection. I'm going to bring you back. Okay,
Yeah.
there you are.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back.
Okay.
So Darshan, what piece of advice would you want to leave anyone who's watching this with?
Um, I think there are two, three parts to it. One part is awareness, right? Try and bring as much awareness of where you are in your life. There are so many concepts. You have ikigai, you have so many different frameworks to today, which if you just Google or you watch YouTube videos, you'll understand or help you understand where you are today from your calling standpoint, from your productivity performance standpoint, from your personal finance standpoint, your relationship standpoint. happiness level, mental wellness, physical wellness, right? So imagine, when you're not well, you have a thermometer which tells you 102 degrees.
Right.
So there are ways by which you can understand where you are in what part of your professional or personal life as well. So first part of advice is understand where you are and do you want to be there. If not, you got to change, right? And so get a coach if you have to, but go from a from to chart. Here is where I am, here is what I want to be, and kind of map it. And the last piece of advice is give yourself time.
Yeah.
I keep saying this. I recently published this. If you added weight, right? I added weight over a 4, 5, 7 year period. It would have been wrong of me to assume that I'm going to go from 85 kgs to 70 kgs in just 3 months.
Yes.
If I took so many years to become unhealthy, shouldn't I give myself some time to become healthy? So be a little patient and allow yourself some time, because everyone seems to be like this Instagram shop instant chahiye, right? 10-minute delivery chahiye, right? But can't happen with transformation. Transformation takes time.
Yeah.
What about you, Jayashree? Any words of advice?
I'm at this stage like want advice rather than giving, but one thing
We all are. Like, trust me. Like,
I,
in this
I
falling in a space where someone please tell me what to do. But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah. I would say just ask for help if you need. And as your friends and family are there for you, please try to be there for them. Um, but yeah, sometimes if you feel heavy in heart or mind, it just helps to go for a walk with a friend.
cool. Yeah, so connect with nature. For me, if anyone's like looking for any advice from me, it's basically ask yourself what's the best version of who you could be, right? And are you that right now? Are you living that best version of yourself? And if you're not, then find out what's getting in the way and then work on it. And then it's better to always have people to support you, because on your own it's really hard. If you could do it on your own, you would have done it already.
Yeah,
And that's why we need coaches, that's why we need therapists, that's why we need guides, that's why we need people who can teach us about how to become financially independent, that's why we need people who can teach us about how to like basically fight for our own rights when it comes to that, right? So look for people who can guide you in the arena that you want any kind of improvement in. That's like, first ask yourself, are you the best version of who you can be? And then if you're not, if you're honest with yourself, you'll say that you're not, because you can never be the best version of who you are, right? There's always a place for growth.
yeah,
And then look for people who can help you to do that. So I think that came out from all three of us, right? Like, look for support, look for people, and keep raising your standards. All right. So good. We are pretty much on time. Thank you so much, you guys. It was so lovely having you here, and I'm so happy to have this conversation with you. So
yeah.
I hope
Thanks,
you enjoyed the
Mugdha.
experience as
Lovely
well.
talking to you, Jayshree. I look
Yes.
forward to catching up in person with you as well. Mugdha, always in an amazement of what you do, and with the energy that you bring in, right? The authenticity that you bring in is something I need to learn from you.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing my
Thanks for having me here.
Thursday afternoons. And I'll catch you.
Yes, we should definitely connect, and Darshan, we will keep connecting as well. You still owe us a visit to our office, so
Yes.
whenever both of you, whenever you can, please do come. I have a waterfall in my room. All right, bye bye.
All
It was
right.
so good
Bye.
having both of you.
Thanks. Have a good day.
You
Bye.
too.